Hi, so as I promised, I'll be doing some videos in English as well, the important topics. And also I thought that it would be better if I could combine related topics instead of doing separate videos on them. So in this video, I'll be doing the calorie amount, or how the amount of calories you need to reduce fat, to gain weight, or to stay in your current weight. And also then I'll be talking about the macro splits, the macronutrients, how your calories divided into according to macros. And also the other part, which is also necessary, is how to count calories and how to keep a track on your calories with regards to food. Let's begin. I can feel that. And if you are new to my channel, I'm Lahiru Jakodi. I'm a third year medical student, and my goal is to guide you towards a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so let's move on to the first part, which is counting your calories. So before I give you the equations and stuff, I would like to say that honestly, I or even you don't know how many calories you need individually, because as I mentioned in the early video, there are different body types regarding your when you consider our metabolic rate. So there are no any equations to consider that factor. So hypothetically, if we get 3 people who have the same weight, same height and same activity level, with those three different body types, definitely their calorie intake would be different. The calorie not the intake, their calorie needs would be different, but how we calculate, all of them will have a equal calorie need. So I would like to stress on that first, but I can guide you to the correct path, where you could ultimately find your calorie need, but it needs some research done. So we have to start with a number. So to get the number, we'll do this equation. So follow me. First we have to find out your ideal body weight. That's not your current weight. Most probably some of you have your current weight as your ideal body weight, but that's a good thing, but I'm pretty sure either you are overweight or underweight. Let's take the BMI number 23 as the ideal number, like there's a range, but let's take it as 23. Now multiply 23 with your height, the square value of your height in meters. Like if you are 170 centimeters tall, it has to be 1.7 meter. That's 1.7 meters, so it's the square of 1.7. Then you will get your ideal body weight. Then we had to find your basal metabolic rate. It's not BMI, it's BMR, not body mass index. It's basal metabolic rate is the metabolic rate when you are resting. Mostly you can consider that as when you are sleeping. So first we have to calculate that, and to do so, if you are a male, you have to multiply your ideal body weight by 24, and if you are a female, you have to multiply your ideal body weight by 21.6. Okay, so now you found your basal metabolic rate. Now it's time to get your calorie need according to your activity level. So this is your individual thought, like whether it's what you consider you do. Are you a light worker, a moderate worker, or a heavy worker? So if you think you are a light worker, and if you are a male, divide your multiply your basal metabolic rate from 1.56. And if you are a female, and if you think you are a light worker, your activity level is low, multiply your BMR, or the basal metabolic rate, by 1.55. And then if you think you are sort of a moderate worker, or your activity level is in a medium level, if you are a male, multiply your BMR in 1.78. And if you are a female, multiply it from 1.64. And if you think you are a heavy worker, or your activity level is high, so if that's so, then multiply your if you are a male, multiply your BMR with 2.10, and if you are a female, multiply it by 1.82. So then you'll get the amount of calories. Okay, so this is the number you are going to start on. So then you have to at least take a month to identify whether your weight is losing, increasing, or is it the same. So if it's losing, that means your calorie need is higher than the amount we got here. If your weight is increasing, that means the amount we got here is more than your actual needs. And if it's the same, that means you got the correct calorie number. And also at the beginning I told you that I can't tell you your calorie needs. This is because the amount of activity, it's relative. Like if there are two people who one is who just works out 2 or 3 couple of days a week, and a person who works in a garden, who does gardening for hours and hours, almost 5 to 6 days a week. Like, what if both of them thought that they were heavy workers? But definitely their calorie needs are not the same. So the body type factor, and then because of this factor we can't get the exact number in the beginning. But ultimately, if you experiment on yourself, after starting with this number, you can increase, decrease 500 calories, and then you can experiment, and then you will get your exact number. But it will take time, months and months, maybe weeks and weeks, or whatever. So that's the amount of calories you need. Okay, so to the next part, which is the macros. Okay, the macro splits. There are 3 types of macronutrients, I hope you know, which are carbohydrate, proteins, and lipids. Among these 3, I consider protein and lipid as the most important, because there are amino acids as well as fatty acids which we can't produce in our body, which we definitely need to get it from our food sources. What we get from carbohydrate, it's ultimately glucose, which will be used as energy, our primary energy source. And also there are methods of building up glucose in our body, as also other ways of getting energy. But so I'll give a basic calculation to find out your macro splits. This is like for a normal person who just wants to add weight, lose weight, or maintain, not to like a person who's going to gym to do bodybuilding or some sort of thing. This is just a true average person. Okay, so let's begin with protein. If you are a overweight person, or you get your current weight, but if you are an underweight person, you need your ideal body weight. Like in the first part of the video, we counted your ideal body weight, so it's there. Then if you are an overweight person, your current weight, and if you are underweight person, your ideal body weight, you multiply that from 0.75, which will lead up to the number of grams of protein you need per day. If it's 60, it would be 45 grams. If your weight is 100 kilograms, it would be 75 grams, something like that. So then this is a part that I forgot to tell in the beginning, but I'll tell it now. In 1 gram of protein, there's 4 kilocalories. So to find the amount of calories you'll be getting from protein, we multiply the number of grams by 4. So then you will get the amount of calories you get from protein. Okay, let's move into fats or lipids. So in fats, you get 9 kilocalories per 1 gram. So there is a higher calorie profit from fats, and also the profit is higher because the amount of calories you need to digest fats is lower than both protein and carbohydrate. So because of that, we'll divide the overweights and underweights into 2 different parts, so that the amount of fats both groups take will differ. So first we'll get the overweights. If you are an overweight person, count your the calorie intake or the amount of calories you need from the previous part. So get 20% from it. If it's 1000 calories, which is 200. If it's 2000, which is 400, something like that. Okay, so that's the amount of calories you're getting from fat. And also if you are underweight person, get 30% of your calorie needs. That means if it's 1000, it's 300. If it's 2000, it's 600. Okay, so then if you need to find out the grams of fat you need, you divide that amount of calories from 9. So it will lead up to your gram amount. Okay, so now let's move into the last part, which is carbohydrates. So now you know the amount of calories you will be getting from protein, and you know the amount of calories you're getting from fats. So there's only one macronutrient left, which is carbohydrates. So the rest of the calories you will get from carbohydrates. Subtract the amount of calories you need from protein and fats from your total calorie need, and you get the amount of calories you need from carbohydrate. And then to get the amount of carbohydrate grams, you divide that from 4, because 1 gram of carbohydrate gives you 4 kilocalories. Okay, so I hope that the macronutrient splits are understood. So it's the third or the final part of the video, which is like how to calculate calories from foods. This is not a practical thing in Sri Lanka, because as we have a complicated types of diets, like we mix up so many things together, it's kind of not practical. But as a completion of this video, I'll be telling you this. So to do that, you have to measure your food. You have to have a weighing scale. Then you have to weigh the amount of food. Like if you are eating white rice, you have to weigh how many grams I'm eating. So then you have to find out how many calories 1 gram of white rice contains. So then you can multiply it and get it. And you'll be asking, like, how I'm going to do this every single day? Like it will take 2 hours to eat, which only took 10 minutes before. So like you have to take measurements relatively. Like first you can use your maybe your tablespoon, a bowl, spoon which you use to, the big spoon which you use to get rice. You can like measure them in the beginning, and then after that you know the amount of grams bowl contains. Then if you take half of it, the amount of grams is half. You will have to eventually sacrifice some time for this, but later you find it easy when you like use measurements that are easy, not like weighing it all the time, as I told you now. And also there is an app which you can track our calories, which you can record it as a diary, and this is called MyFitnessPal. It is really useful if you are really into this game, because like there is a feature to scan barcodes where if the food is already in the database of the app, it will give the amount of calories, the macro splits and everything. So it is really easy. You don't need to like find out or Google to get the amount of calories. You only have to add the portion you took from the packet or the product. It's really easy. You get sort of a diary like breakfast, lunch, as you can see here, and also the amount of macros, because some food, most of the foods contains all 3 macros, so it will give you the macro splits as well, not only the calorie amount. So it's really helpful as a tool. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you understood the concepts, and I hope you counted your calories, your macros, and I hope that you will be doing these things to get to your ultimate goal. And if you are new to the channel, or else if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit the bell icon, and also like and comment if you want. Like if you have any questions, or if there are parts which you didn't understand, please comment down so that I know. And also share this among your fitness enthusiasts, and also people who are willing or who want to lose weight, also people who are trying hard to gain weight, gain muscle, so that this will help them in some way. We'll meet in another video. Have a nice day.